We're currently headed to Target to try and pick up some essentials. And we've got Ernie in the back there. It's mostly been a screamy baby all morning, as he is wont to do. But luckily, he is behaving so far in the car. Yeah, I don't know. I find maybe that some of it at this age is just him needing stimulation. Anyway, I'm desperately looking for ways to do something resembling a vlog, but I'm having a hard time finding just like 5 minutes to myself, you know, to collect my thoughts and to talk. Like literally, almost every single waking moment is consumed by my family, and whatever time I do have, I'm like too tired and I want to just do something brainless, which right now for me is playing Diablo. Diablo 4, which I gotta say, not a very good game. I have a video planned for that to talk about what my thoughts are on the game, but god damn, I don't have any time. But yeah, I have a video planned. I even recorded some video game footage. Yeah, I'll see if I ever get around to it. But in the interim, I have since discovered the Act Man and his channel on YouTube, and you know, a lot of what he says in his video applies. Like I'm of the same opinion. I think he goes a little bit too easy on Diablo, if you can believe it. He does go a little bit too easy on it in some respects. For example, I don't find that the art design is a return to form at all. I think it's very much similar to Diablo 3. Yeah, sure, you know, maybe each character is not quite as cartoony looking, but it's still very similarly, you know, cartoon proportions. You know, you got barbarians that are just gigantic druids that are just gigantic things with tiny heads. And then like there's the problem, like there's also the whole UI element to it. You know, it's like constantly numbers flashing up all over the screen, and you know, vulnerable, all just icons all over the screen. Like that makes it feel cartoony, you know, and it's not. It doesn't have that kind of dark, gothic artistic style of Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. So I don't consider this at all a return to form. You know, Diablo 2 never needed to have all these numbers flying out, popping up everywhere. Your entire screen just completely covered with numbers and words. And then there's also all of the effects. Like the effects are too heavy-handed. Too many particle effects and stuff. It's just, yeah, it is not at all a return to form. But a lot of the other things he says are smack dab exactly my feeling about it. It is an extremely boring game that feels like a lot of it just what's the word I'm looking for? Exemplifies maybe the word I'm looking for. The problem with modern day gaming. It's just that like they looked at what's good in the past, what has worked in the past, and then just make it more. That's their idea of making a good game. It's just make it more. And so like, sure, there were like different status effects in previous Diablo games. Let's just make more of them, right? There are different ways your characters can be buffed in previous games. Let's just make more of them, you know? And then so it results in all these like all these pieces of gear with all these modifiers, and you have like no idea whether or not it's going to be useful, because they all apply such specific things. Like this bow will do slightly more damage on a Wednesday at around 2:15 p.m. if you are a rogue who happens to be wearing a hood. You know, and you had a cheeseburger for lunch. Like, it's so freaking specific. Like, why is there a damage modifier for close versus distant enemies. You know, like it's like hard to even know like what counts as close, what counts as distant. You know, and like, why is there a critical hit chance and then also a lucky hit chance? Like the I'm sorry, but that mechanic is too similar, right? And then there's there's the whole combo points thing with the rogue. I realize this is specific to rogue, but that's what I'm playing as. I'm playing as rogue right now. Like you have this thing where like, you know, every third shot from your bow or whatever has this additional effect. But then you also have combo points where like you build up 3 combo points and then your next shot does something, has some kind of additional effect. Those are too similar. You have too many similar things, you know? So I think the items thing is just all stupid. And then the game as a whole is just very boring. I don't want to go into too much, but like I've also wanted to make a video about how I feel about open world games, quote unquote open world games, because that's where a lot of modern day game design is going towards. And we saw that with Halo, and Diablo decided to try that. It just I don't know, it's incredibly boring. The story is also very boring. It's a lot of like, well, meet me over there, and then you meet them over there and say, well, meet me over here. And then it's like, it all feels like such a excuse for you to travel through different parts of the map. Like, why can't you just talk to me here where I'm standing in front of you? You know, like, or like, you know, there are parts, this goes into like the laziness of the writing. It's like, why is it that sometimes, you know, these characters can accompany me from one location to the other, but then other times they just be like, well, just meet me over there. I'm like, why? You walked with me over here. Why now do you want to go somewhere else without me? And, I don't know. It's very lazy writing. And then, you know, there's also like how you get rewards for completing quests. You just, yeah, sure, you get the experience and the gold, fine, but then like you also you get gifted items just out of the blue, no explanation. The character doesn't say anything. The item just appears in your inventory. And you're like, what? Why? Why did this, you know, magical helm just suddenly appear after I spoke to some random dude in some town, and that happened to complete a quest? You know, I was like, what? It's very lazy writing. I mean, I suppose you could say the same about like killing monsters and bosses. Like, why do all these bosses spill all these magical items? Why do they spill gold? What use does demons have for gold that when you kill them, you have access to their, you know, pocket change? I agree. Like, that's kind of contrived too, but like, at least they're like, it kind of feeds into the gameplay loop a little bit. Like, you're rewarded for, you know, doing something difficult. You're killing a monster. But the quests, you know, a lot of these quests are just like, well, you go and talk to somebody, or their completion happens when you go and talk to somebody. And then why does this magical gear suddenly appear, right? And yeah, you know, maybe if you're speaking to some all-powerful wizard or all-powerful monarch that has, you know, a collection of magical treasures, and they give you one, sure, okay, that kind of makes sense. But like, a lot of times it's just some random person who shouldn't have access to any of this magical gear. You talk to them, and you get this gear. Anyway, I have a lot of complaints, and there's no way I'm going to do it justice talking to the camera while driving. And anyway, I'm at Target now, so I'm going to stop the video here.